How you doing?
Good. Do I sound overmodulated this time?
I think you're sounding pretty good to me. How do you
Okay.
feel, Kevin?
We might want to turn him down just a slight notch on the StreamYard side, but it sounds great.
Cool.
Great.
I'll go
Sorry
ahead.
about that. Last time I know I had a little bit of an issue. I hope it's better this time.
No, it sounds totally fine. It sounds great, man.
Yeah. How you doing?
Good. Good. I'm glad to be here. I'm ready for Thanksgiving. I'm sure you guys are as well. So just trying to tie up a million loose ends, but otherwise I'm pretty happy. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. I figured right off of the top we could stay in your wheelhouse a little bit because my mind has been completely blown by the fact that Anthony Joshua is about to fight one of the Paul brothers in a professionally sanctioned boxing match. And it comes in the wake of when I can never remember. Is it Logan Paul that's fighting him or Jake Paul that's fighting him?
Jake
Paul, and he was supposed to fight Tank Davis. Am I on the right path there? Who is a much smaller, much leaner guy. Anthony Joshua, a killer in comparison, a foot taller probably. How did that come about? And is it all a work, or is this a legitimate professional boxing bout?
I mean, the thing is, we are in the middle of these betting scandals, not just in combat sports, but in sports more broadly, where there are different kinds of scandals. Some are just they're trying to beat prop bets. Some there are implications. We don't really know the full extent of it yet, but the implication that there is full fights that are being thrown in certain cases. But let me just tell you, like, doing that is real bad. It's a felony to do that. Like, if you get caught doing that, not only is your combat sports career over, no state would ever sanction you again. You're gonna go to jail. I mean, it's real. It's actually quite serious. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen or it won't happen, but my automatic default setting is I don't expect that, especially one this high profile. And in fact, if you look at the case where there are at least some, we don't know the full extent of it, but suspicious betting as it pertains to UFC fights, these are all like real low level ones within the organization. This is a main event on Netflix. It is going on the record. The reason why we're having this difficulty in understanding it is because the way in which the sport is regulated, both on the MMA and the boxing side, is each state has a government agency, an athletic commission. They all have different names, but in this case, it's in Florida. Florida and Texas historically are known as being like the most lax regulatory environments you've ever seen in your life. Clear example, Manny Pacquiao wanted to fight a guy by the name of Antonio Margarito. Margarito had an eye issue. New York was like, we're just not going to license this fight. So they just took the fight to Texas, and it was at AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World, where the Dallas Cowboys play. And it just went ahead, and Manny Pacquiao beat him, worked him like a summer job. So this is a thing called commission shopping. Now, this fight was supposed to take place in Florida, where, as you mentioned, when they had Tank Davis. Tank's nickname is Tank, okay, with good reason. He's got big power, ... For a guy who fights at 135 pounds, he's a little man. I've interviewed him in person many times. Well, I've seen him in person many times. I've interviewed him a couple times. He's not big. He's about 5'5", 5'6". He's a little person. He just hits really hard for that weight class. Anthony Joshua is a gigantic 6'6" heavyweight. Now, he is coming off of a devastating KO loss himself to another big heavyweight named Daniel Dubois. This was a big show. But Jake Paul, while, has a decent pop for a guy who has not been doing boxing that long, it's almost incomprehensible. This is the kind of thing the state would never have regulated before. They now seem much more open to it than they ever once were. But I also think that there might be something happening, and this is, I'm speculating. I want to be clear. I'm not giving you skinny, but like, I don't understand how you can go from a bout with a guy that you are massively oversized against, who's very good, to one who you are massively undersized against, who's also very good, who's a devastating, dangerous puncher. It's like, does he owe Netflix something? Is he feeling the heat to produce for them because the Gervonta fight kind of fizzled out for all the reasons that it did? I honestly don't know, but I'm not even doing a bit here. I'm like legitimately concerned for his health. Like,
it looks like Rocky's facing off Ivan Drago. When you look at their pictures standing, it looks like something that's cinematic that you'd be like, that would never happen in boxing.
Right. Honestly, maybe even a little bit worse than that, just in terms of the size of Anthony Joshua. I want to make a caveat. I've been covering this industry for so long that I've just seen so many crazy things happen that yes, we cannot rule out the possibility that Jake Paul could win here. Again, he's got a little bit of pop, and Anthony Joshua is coming off of a devastating KO loss. But the difference in ability and the difference in accomplishment and the difference in size and the difference in what they've shown is so enormous that I'm honestly shocked that a state said, yeah, sure, we'll go through with this, but we're off to the races December 19th on Netflix.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Obviously, I'm not as big of a fan of boxing as you guys, but I do think it's pretty crazy how Jake Paul has just become such a mainstay of the boxing world. Obviously, someone that came from the streaming and kind of YouTube side of things to make such a successful transition is pretty crazy.